Right, I'm going to try really hard not to get ahead of myself here and just talk about the episode that we've just watched. Okay, so we start with easily the best cold open. I mean, Doctor Who's already had cold opens, hasn't it? But there's something about that cold open, and it's very simple, but it's a slice of genius. We see the Earth, and then these iconic speeches, and the spaceship approaching. And there's something really, really special about that, especially when you appreciate that this, of course, was the first episode shown in Doctor Who's 25th year. So conversation, and I was there at the time, so I know, was about, the importance of this season, the relevance of this season to Doctor Who fans. While, of course, the show was languishing, trying to fight the unbeatable tide that was Coronation Street. So we get through the cold open, which is just unbelievable, and then we are straight into the mystery of it, with the Doctor and Ace walking around the corner. We see it's Coal Hill School, and the Doctor seemingly is onto whatever's going on here. Now, this is a big switch up. The Doctor knows more about this situation than we do. Now, the Doctor always knows more about things than we do because the Doctor's genius, but there is something different about this from here on in. Don't get ahead of yourself. The Doctor is obviously fully aware, and this goes on, what's the Hand of Omega? We as fans don't know anything about the Hand of Omega. We soon become very conscious of the fact that we're in familiar places, Coal Hill School, for, Iron Foreman, Totter's Lane, all that. And yet the Doctor's dropping knowledge bombs about stuff that we as fans have no idea about. What's this Hand of Omega nonsense? Unbelievable stuff. So then we get this cast of characters, all of whom are just so evocative of these 25 years with the Doctor Who. We get our Brigadier stand-in, and that's just writ large, joyously so. We got Barbara, or Rachel, or Liz Shaw, or Jo Grant. I can't remember her name. Isn't the soldier called Mike? Is the soldier called Mike?
The one in the Pertwee era is.
No, yeah, but in this, what's...
I can't recall.
Well, that's the first time I made that connection, but a soldier called Mike, if it is that. We get Ace being just phenomenal. I mean...
Surely she's being Ace.
Your take on Ace, because you're an Ace doubter?
She's grown on me a little bit in this episode. She's a bit more with it, but she's not a 16-year-old child.
Well, just get over that, will you? Wibbly wobbly timey wimey. And we get... There's not an ounce of fat in this episode. It does...
No, it really isn't.
And the thing is, it never feels rushed. Everything is so perfectly placed. The dialogue is absolutely sparkling all the way through. And it does that absolutely sensational thing that good Doctor Who and good Doctor Who does, is when it advances the plot and has jokes and has characterful moments, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. The Daleks seem like a proper flipping threat. None of this, end of cliffhanger, let's have a Dalek. No, straight off, there's a Dalek, and it's the threat of the Dalek. There is a threat of this Dalek, and we know how rough it's going to be, and the soldiers have no idea. And that's absolutely incredible. And then at the end, of course, we get the Dalek going up the stairs for the first time. That is unbelievable. And can I just say, for the first time ever, I just appreciate that transmat moment. Because that transmat moment in another episode would be the cliffhanger, but it's not, because what we get is, a minute and a half of peril, a brilliant little explanation, and then another Dalek appears. It's the leanest episode of Doctor Who.
Mr. Bronson.
Oh, and of course, Mr. Bronson, which is always a joy. Who has been in Doctor Who times as well. This is a very meta episode of Doctor Who. There is so much reference to itself going on, and how intentional all of that is irrelevant, because the bottom line is, this is continually pinging about. We even get references to Zygons, Yetis. It's absolutely insane how much is going on in this episode on so many different levels, okay? It's just... unbelievable. That bit, there's so much to say. That part where they swap over in the car. What a bit of nonsense. But absolutely magnificent nonsense. Just absolutely joyous. And then at the heart of it, you've got Sylve. I mean, I loved Syl's first season, and I thought there was so much to be gleaned from that. But all of a sudden, what happens between the end of Dragonfire and the start of this? Retrospectively, and okay, I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, we will be able to sort of like start to talk about all the different things that are going on here and why the Doctor is perhaps up in his game, and this is a big conversation that needs to be had. But even for a viewer just coming off the big however many week gaps between the end of Dragonfire and this, remembering those last few moments of Dragonfire and sort of ambling about trying to sort out a problem in a supermarket essentially, to this, where he's just on it all the time. And when's the last time the Doctor felt this alien? Not in a... And look, we're Colin Baker stands in this house. But not in a brusque, arrogant, I'm cleverer than you way. And not in the sort of vaguely detached, exasperated Davison way. And not in the, bigger than life, walking through a door in a magnificent way, Baker way. And all the... This is a whole new take on that. I mean, it's explicit, but it just runs so deep within the character. And it's just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. I envy anybody who has not seen Remembrance of the Daleks, because purely on the basis of this first episode, I'm working so hard here, that is the best single episode of Doctor Who that we have. And honestly, I was getting to the end, and I know I make these proclamations all the pissing time, and I must make it, I know I make Lib sick with them. The biggest rival would be, of recent times, Trial of a Time Lord, the penultimate episode of that, which was phenomenal, but this is better than that. I can't think of any Baker episode. I can't think of any Davison episode. I'm not even sure I can think of any Baker episode. Genuinely, just for a single one-off 4 minutes of Doctor Who, that had everything in spades. In spades. Bloody hell. It's all there. Wow. Okay. Yep.